actually teach as young as 3 years old. So I teach from age 3 to 93, I always say. So I'm really, really excited to tell you the story today about Frederico, the mouse violinist. I'm going to see if I can zoom in here. Okay, so here's the cover. If you can see, here's Frederico and here's the violin. And we'll get started here. Frederico was a little mouse with a big name, Frederico. He lived in Cremona, Italy, in the workshop of a famous violin maker named Antonio Stradivari. Here's Stradivari here. During the day from the tool shelf, he peeked at the luthier making his celebrated Stradivarius violins. The mouse sighed with longing. His pink nose twitched at the strong smell of wood and varnish, the oil used to make the violins glossy. Do you see Frederico up here on the shelf, peeking at the luthier down here? He's hiding up here. During the night, when all was quiet and the luthier had retired to sleep, Frederico sneaked out and explored the workshop and its wonders. He jumped up by the scroll, hop. This is the scroll right here. It kind of looks like a snail, doesn't it? He jumped up by the scroll and admired its fine beauty, its shape carved like a rolled up sheet of parchment. He turned a peg or two to tune the violin and make sure the sound came out right. Frederico had learned that if he tightened a peg, the pitch was higher, and that if he loosened it, the pitch was lower. So these are the pegs, the big pegs right here. They're almost as big as he is, right? Sometimes he walked on a string, balancing himself like an acrobat. Doesn't that look fun? He's balancing himself on the strings like that. Then swoosh, he slid down the fingerboard. Wouldn't that be fun to do, to just slide down the fingerboard like a slide? And bump, tripped on the bridge. This is the bridge right here. See how he tripped over it? Poor Frederico. Curious, Frederico peeked into the F-hole and looked inside the violin. This is the secret magical place where the sound comes out, he squeaked. See, these are the F-holes here. That's what the sound comes out of the violin. Then he scrambled down the tailpiece and lay down, dreaming about owning his own Stradivarius violin and becoming a virtuoso. This is the tailpiece right here. And he's just laying there dreaming about being a violinist. Frederico would have loved to play the violin, but he had never dared before. Quivering with excitement, he dragged the bow onto the strings and played a few notes. But since he was so little and the violin and bow so big, playing was an almost impossible task. From that day on, he practiced night after night. But the violin is so big and he's so little. How does he do that? One night, Frederico was having so much fun playing the violin that he didn't notice Stradivari watching from the door. The luthier was astonished to see a mouse play so skillfully. For the next 2 days, Frederico watched as Stradivari worked on a mysterious device. It was so small, it lay hidden in Stradivarius's large hands as he worked. Not even from the top of the music stand could Frederico see what it was. Look at what he's working on. What do you think it might be? I wonder what that could be. At night, before retiring to sleep, Stradivari hid the strange gadget inside a small black box. As soon as the luthier left the workshop, Frederico scampered across the table and tried to pry it open with his tiny paws. But the box was locked with a key. He thought about gnawing the box with his sharp teeth, but he respected Stradivari too much to damage his property. What do you think could be in this strange little box here that Stradivari is making? I wonder. The next evening, after a few final touches, Stradivari put his mysterious secret creation inside the black box. This time, however, he didn't lock it. He also wrote a letter and placed it on the box. Then, smiling, he left the workshop. I wonder what it is. As soon as the luthier went to sleep, Frederico sprinted up the table. When he saw the letter, he stopped, surprised. The letter said, "Dear Mouse Violinist," here's his writing, "Dear Mouse Violinist, I hope my gift will help you pursue your dreams. Yours truly, Antonio Stradivari." I wonder what it is. Have you guys guessed what it is yet? Frederico opened the box. Inside it was a little violin case. With shaky paws and a thudding heart, Frederico opened it. Inside the case was the tiniest violin he had ever seen. A Stradivarius violin made by Stradivari himself. Did you guys guess it? Did you guys guess what it was? But best of all, its size was perfect for Frederico. Look at how happy he is. Frederico lifted the instrument and began to play. The notes swirled about him in a cloud of pure joy as Frederico moved the bow over the strings. He closed his eyes and swayed like a famous violinist on stage. From the door, Stradivari watched, pleased that he had made yet another violinist the happiest violinist on earth. Look how happy he is. He has a violin that's just his size. Isn't that cool? So I want to show you something really special that I have on my in my studio at Wausau Conservatory. I have this tiny, tiny little violin. See, like here's my real violin, and look at this tiny one that I have. And so I'm going to show you. Look how small it is. But I still think it would be a little too big for a mouse. This would be kind of more for like a rat or something like that, a little bit bigger. And it doesn't make any sound, but it's really, really cute. But I want to show you another one that might be a good size for a mouse. Tell me what you think. Look at this one. Oh, look how tiny that is. So I think this one would be good for a mouse. Maybe this one would be good for a rat. And then I have my violin that's for me. So I just wanted to quickly show you the parts of the violin that we learned about in the book. This part up here that looks like a snail, that's called the scroll. These are the pegs. This black thing right here is called the fingerboard. It's the board that I put my fingers on when I play violin. And then do you see these fancy, this is a fancy letter F, and this is a backwards F here. Those are the F holes. That's where the sound comes out of the violin. And then this part right here is called the bridge. Do you think that looks like a bridge? Like you can imagine the water under here, it kind of looks like a bridge. And then this part is called the tailpiece. This part right here, do you think that looks like a tail? Like the tail of a cat or a dog or something? Sort of. And then this part is the bow. And can you guys, maybe you could unmute everybody now. Can you guys guess what this white stuff is made of on the bow?
Okay. Horsehair. Hold on.
Who said that? That's right. How did you know that? Yeah, this is from the tail of a horse. That's exactly right.
It's horsehair.
Yeah, you're right. Horsehair. I'm going to just play something really quick, just a couple little snippets so you can hear what the violin sounds like. See if you recognize this song. Who recognizes that song?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
How did you know that?
You probably heard Mom play it a few times.
I hope so. Okay, how about this song?
Yeah. On the bus.
What song is that?
We were on the bus. We was on the bus.
Right. A couple ones. Here's a little classical piece. That's classical. And lastly, this is a little bit of a fiddle. Violinists can play all kinds of different music. They can play classical, movie music, or even fiddle music. And here's a little bit of fiddle music.
Yeah.
Fiddle. So, does anyone have any questions about any of that? About Frederico or about the little violins or anything like that?
No.
We have one hand up. The yeah, the young lady holding her hand up. What's your name?
Praying for honey. Mama, what hammer I ate?
Abigail Stanley, are you unmuted? Are they unmuted?
Yeah.
What was your question?
Come back on the couch, buddy. Can't see you over there. They can't see you on the screen if you're over there.
Do you have a question?
I have a dog.
You have a dog? That's great. I have a cat.
We used to have cats.
We
Does
used
a
to have
cat like music? Even have
Does my cat like music? I think he kind of ignores it.
we have a bunny and a dog. Her hair is black.
I wanted to tell you guys that next week we're going to do this one, which is called Finn the Frog Who Played Violin. Just when you thought it was weird that a mouse played violin, next week we're going to learn about a frog who played violin. So I hope you can join me next week too. For this one.
Any other question? Do you have a question before we go?
No.
What if someone actually what?
What if somebody asks? Also, there's another one.
Okay.
Can someone teach us how to play a violin?
Can you ask the question one more time about the violin?
What if somebody actually taught a mouse to play violin?
Taught a mouse how to play violin?
Yeah.
I've never tried that, but maybe I should try sometime. That's a good idea. I'll have to find a mouse first though, somewhere. I'll let you know if I can do it or not.
Any last questions? I've muted everyone for a minute there to make sure. Any last questions?
Any other questions? Last chance.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming, and I hope you'll join me next week for Finn the Frog.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you. Is it bye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, she's got a buddy too.
Goodbye. One person did not make me.